Welcome to the Mindset Architect Podcast, where it's all about creating the life you want, the business you want, and making a real difference. Join us in unlocking the code to true success. And now your host, Tony Caliendo, Master Coach with Rethink Coaching.
Welcome to the Mindset Architect Podcast, episode number 50. I'm Tony Caliendo, Master Coach here at Rethink Coaching. And as always, thanks for joining me today. Time truly is our most valuable gift, and your sharing your time with me truly does mean a lot. So here we are, team, episode 50, which means we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary of the Mindset Architect Podcast. And I was just thinking of what a great journey it has been. And for so many of you that continue to follow and listen and comment and send me notes, I truly appreciate it. It keeps me going. And I just appreciate knowing that it's making a difference. So here we go. Today, we're already in second week of August. And I want to talk about a powerful statement that you might be making to yourself that you're not even aware of the impact that it could be having on you. And I know we say this a lot, or you may have heard this before. I think the things that we say to ourselves and from an internal perspective can be some of the most cruel things that we hear. I know there's bullying and I know there's other things that go on that are hateful and mean, but I want to talk about what happens in the silence in your mind, what happens in the quiet of the night when you put your head on the pillow, what happens throughout the day as you're facing some challenges. And that is this voice that we have that has this one statement that whatever you say that follows it is truly broadcasting out to the universe, and most likely what you're going to get back. And those are the words, I am. And I do want you to just pause for a moment and think about this. Whatever follows I am is truly what you are placing your order with. You know, I talk about this and I give this example all the time. You know, the universe is always listening. God is always listening. Whatever your belief is always listening. And it's giving back to you what you state to it. And that's just how it works. I compare it to ordering a meal out at a restaurant. And I've used this example before, and I think it's one of the best ones to get the point across. Whatever you place with the universe, you receive. So if we're out for dinner and I take you to a nice steakhouse and we're ordering our meal from the wait staff that comes over to take care of us, and you are very specific about what you want. You order your prime rib, you order it, medium, you get your loaded baked potato, you order exactly what you want. And there's a 99% chance that you're going to receive exactly what you want. Now, if they came to take my order and I just said, hey, I'll just take dinner, I'm going to get whatever comes my way. So we have to be really careful with our words that we put out into the universe. You know, our thoughts are powerful. And if you are living in the place of, I am a failure, I am not successful, I am never going to sell another house, another widget, another gadget, I am never going to work like this again, I am not capable, I am. And those negative I am statements are placing your order for dinner, and you're going to get it back to you because what you say is what you get. And I think the really important thing to make note of in this situation is we're not necessarily saying it out loud. So we may not even be aware, number one, of what we're saying to ourselves. But I promise you, you say it more than you might think. And so I'm going to invite you over the next week to sit with how many times you think to yourself, I am, or you speak a negative statement to yourself. I'm a failure. I'm never going to be successful. I'll never be like the other X in my industry. And those negative statements that we make, and we feel like they're facts, okay? We feel like it's a fact, but it's really a negative statement to ourselves and our conscious mind. And it's what we're going to end up getting. You know, if I went around saying, I am never going to record another podcast that makes a difference. Well, guess what? I'm not going to do today. I'm not going to record a positive podcast. You have to be cautious of what you are saying. Now, here's the really cool thing. You can turn it around and make the statement really powerful and impactful. I am powerful. I am successful. I am a real force in my industry. I am an amazing human being. That is also placing our order. So you really can have this work either way, but sadly, remember what we talked about early on. We have about 60,000 thoughts a day. 80% are negative and 95% are repetitive. So the odds are your I am statements are more towards the 80% negative if you are not intentional. And I want you to think about this. Could you even imagine saying something to your best friend, your spouse, your kids that are in your life, whether they're your children, nieces and nephews, people that you mentor, whoever it is? Can you even imagine saying what you say to yourself to someone else? I am a loser. I am not successful. I am failing. Can you imagine if we said that? You're a loser. You're not going to ever succeed. You are not good at what you do. Would you ever say that to someone and do harm to them? I would think we don't. Now, sometimes we give critical feedback, and that's very different. But on the regular, would you just walk up to one of your best friends or a spouse and just say, you're just horrible. You are never going to amount to anything. You are not good at what you do. You're never going to sell another product. You are a victim of the market. You're a victim of all of the external stuff that's going on. Can you even imagine having that conversation? And this is where I think sometimes we treat ourselves so much in such a negative way, worse than we would ever talk to a friend or a peer or a loved one. And so I want you to really think about it. Now, as always, I'm going to encourage you to become intentional about the positive. I know the negative exists. I know it does. And, just based on statistics, I know that it exists. And I know that we all have those negative I am thoughts. So you can do a couple of things. You can go to the thought exercise that we talk about in previous podcasts, where we take that thought, I am a loser, and we run it through the thought flow model, thoughts, feelings, actions, results. And we can ask ourselves the 4 questions and reframe that I am a loser and turn it into a positive thought. I'm a winner. I am a good person. I am someone who great things happen to. I am someone who makes a difference in the world. We can turn that thought around and make it more empowering. So I'm going to really invite you to be intentional, whether it's in your journaling, whether it is in just your daily thoughts, your meditation, whatever it is that you can do. I really do want you to become intentional about the I am statements that you make. Now, they're a bit on the affirmation side, right? And some of you might be saying, no, I've done affirmations. Affirmations don't work. Okay, well, that's an affirmation. Saying I am a loser is an affirmation. For some reason, we get in our head that affirmations are only positive and empowering. And the reality is that an affirmation can be negative or positive, and it depends on you. It depends on what you would like it to be in the space that you would like to live in. And so I'm going to invite you to become more intentional about it. Now, what I like about running it through the thought flow model, taking that thought, I am powerful beyond words, and running it through the thought flow model, the feelings that you get, emotion and energy, the actions that you're going to take because of that thought feeling, and then the results that you anticipate getting, that is a stronger way to manage an affirmation. Because if we just said, I am powerful beyond recognition, and we skipped on throughout our day, we're not really letting it hit us in a way of impacting our beliefs, our emotions, our energy, the feelings part of it. And that affirmation or that I am statement may not hold the space that it could as if you were running it through that thought flow. So if you've never heard of me talk about the thought flow model, go back to episode number 1. Take a listen. The model is powerful. I've talked about it on nearly probably 60% of the podcast, but I do want you to think about the negative affirmation and the positive affirmation and running it through that thought flow model, because when you do the positive I am, you really are going to have a different energy. You are going to have a different level of emotion. You are going to have a different feeling. And that is where our belief comes in, because if I'm feeling happy or excited, or I feel hopeful, I feel excited, that is going to help cement that affirmation in a way that if you just said it, it may not. Because if you don't believe the affirmation and get all the good feels through the model, it may not stick. So I'm going to invite you to be intentional about your I am statements. And the other thing that I want to talk about, which I think dovetails really nicely into this, is this thought of worthiness. And again, I think this happens a lot to us on an unconscious level, that we may question our worthiness to ourselves, number one, and also to others. And I personally, please, I'm not making a legal statement. I'm just saying, I personally think that some of this worthiness is created by social media. A really good friend of mine, Kara, always said this, and it used to make me laugh, but it's really true. Social media is people's highlight reel. Life might be your blooper reel. And we tend to compare our blooper reel to somebody else's highlight reel, because let's be honest, people are not on social media posting about all their failures. They're just posting about their wins. So we get in this place of comparison. It's only human nature. We get in this place of comparison, and we start to think that maybe we're just not worthy of our goals, of our vision, of what we want out of our business and our life, because we're failing and other people are crushing it, or the perception is that they're crushing it. You know, Facebook can be whatever you want it to be. Instagram can be whatever. All of them can be whatever you want it to be. But I do believe it has rocked some of our worthiness as human beings, because we're in this vacuum a lot of this comparison game. So really sit with this when you're going through your I am statements and your affirmations, and you're checking on the negative that you're saying, you're framing it to positive. Really spend some time also with asking yourself if you feel and believe that you are worthy. And I really, really know that that is an important element of this whole aspect of I am a great person. Because if we don't feel worthy, that's not going to fall well on us. It may not even generate a big enough emotion or energy or feeling to make a difference. So sit with the worthiness part of things and really do some work on that. And I'm going to tell you, that was something I struggled with coming up in the business world. I came from a very modest upbringing in the Midwest. We were, and I love my parents, they did an amazing job, but we were kept very humble, and we were not allowed to really talk about our successes. They just didn't believe that. They felt like it was bragging. They felt like whatever it was. And so celebrating wins was really difficult for me. And it almost made me feel like when I achieved the goal that I wasn't worthy of receiving it, because we had to keep it a big secret. And so it's taken me some time to realize that I am worthy. I'm worthy of whatever I want my life in my business to be. But it didn't come without a lot of work and doing some release around, that was my parents' model of the world. That was how they chose to operate in the world. And as one of their kids, I fell right in line. And then as an adult, as you're moving through the professional world, if you do not feel worthy, or you feel a lack of worthiness because you're hiding your light, you're hiding your success, you're hiding your worthiness, it can really impact you. So there is a fine line between being a King Kong douche and being out there and, talking to everybody about how amazing you are and how wonderful you are and how worthy you are of this success, and being someone who keeps it in check, but allows themselves to feel their worthiness, to feel that they are succeeding, to feel happy with what they're doing, and therefore impacting their I am beliefs. So worthiness is a big piece of this. If you haven't spent any time asking yourself about your worthiness, do it. I always like to ask my clients, hey, on a scale of 0 to 10, with 10 being high, how worthy do you feel? And I love getting a number on it. And I will say this, if you ask yourself that question, if you're blush or your gut or your knee jerk is I'm a 4 out of 10, that's your number. Because what's going to happen is that has bubbled up from an unconscious level. Then we go into conscious level of wanting to look good. No, I'm really not a 4. I'm probably more like an 8. And we start to justify it all. But I'm going to invite you to just ask yourself on a scale of 0 to 10, what is my level of worthiness? And if it is what it is, I don't care if it's a 1, a 9, a 5, a 4, whatever that first number is that comes to mind, sit with that and ask yourself if you're okay with that. I mean, honestly, I think if we're anything below an 8, there's a huge opportunity to work on it. I don't believe we're a 10 in anything consistently. I think we might be a 10 for a moment and then we move the bar and we start to question things again. I don't necessarily know if there is a 10 in really anything that we do. And so if you're anything but a 10, I want you to sit with it and I want you to just acknowledge it and embrace and accept the number you came up with. If it's a 3, it's a 3. Now I know where I am currently. I know where the bar is, and it's my choice to be able to work on my self-worthiness. And a lot of that is going to come from the I am statements and the self-talk that you have with yourself. So these two things are really connected together. And just on working on your I am or your affirmations or your beliefs, I believe you're going to have an impact on your worthiness. So it's okay if that number is low right now. It really is. It's okay. It's just the current number. It's not going to define you for the rest of your life. When you start working on the self-talk part, the affirmation part, the I am part, your worthiness score is going to increase because you are eliminating the negative talk that you're giving to yourself. So these two things are incredibly simple, maybe not easy, and they are incredibly impactful on how you get to show up for yourself in the world. And I promise you, when you feel really congruent or you feel good about who you are and your worthiness in the world, and it starts from the inside, that light is going to shine. That is going to, your energy is going to precede you in everything you do. And if you're coming from that place of worthiness, if you're coming from that place of positive I am statements, affirmations, and you're working through the thought flow model, I promise you, your results are going to be different. You're going to be attracting, you're going to be at a different level of vibration. You're going to be attracting business. You're going to be attracting people into your life that you were once repelling. And this is what I love about changing just a couple of things. This is how we manage our mind. And when we manage our mind, our business strategies are enhanced beyond measure. And we may not have to do anything different other than work on our mind management or our thoughts. So I really am going to invite you to take some time this week, whether it's your journal, whether you do a separate exercise for this, that you really sit with the I am and the worthiness. And I promise you, as you're working on those I am, your worthiness score is going to go up. So if it's low, go to the I am. If it's high, but you want it to be better, go to the I am. That is the surefire way to have a better experience in your life, in your business. I always say this, you're one thought away from a different outcome. You're one thought away from the life or the business that you really, really want to have, but maybe you're not experiencing right now. So this is a great way to actually receive what you have an intention for, a desire for, or what you want in your world. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. Tony@rethinkcoaching.com is my email address. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me pretty easy if you just Google me. I will show up. And take a look at our website, rethinkcoaching.com. We've got some great group coaching programs. One we're offering at no cost right now. It's a 4-week program that works on mindset and business. And please click and join. It's free. It's self-paced. I'm part of the program. I'm a big part of the program, so I'll be there with you. But if you're struggling on a one-on-one, you can always reach out to me. I will send you a link to my calendar. And we can book a free strategy call. We can make it be whatever you need it to be, and we can work through it. So, team, I appreciate you being here. And I really am, my intention is to help you be whoever you want to be and take the lid off and just let you freak your own self out with how incredible life and business can be when you get intentional. I appreciate you all for being here, and I will talk to you soon. Make it a great week. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you must come check out the Mindset Architect Group Coaching Program. It's our monthly program where we explore the power of your mindset, help you identify what you truly want in business and life, and then help you reach those goals. Come check us out at rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. That's rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. We'll see you there.